Hey, welcome to your daily dose of dopamine. I'm Susan. That guy's Robert.
This guy.
That guy is a Warriors fan.
Wow, I know. Game three tonight. Back in your state, you're in Texas.
Yeah, I can't be cheering too loudly. I'm going to go watch the game with my mother in the senior retirement community center where she lives
Now
tonight.
that's funny. We'll both be watching in senior retirement. retirement.
Oh, yes, but your entire community will be probably cheering for the Warriors. My
That's
mom and
true.
I will be cheering for the Warriors in the midst of a bunch of Texans.
So I mean, well, we okay. It sounds like maybe you're saying you watching some sort of community area. We are in their room.
No, no, right. Yes, yes.
I have nearly been kicked out by my mom for cheering too loudly. Not that she isn't every bit as into it. It's just I get very excited. Um, so yeah, it's I'll be honest, just because of the way that the flow goes and things like that. I have a lot of misgivings about tonight's game. Trying to set myself up for the great possibility that it may, just as the playoffs go, it may end up being rather a blowout tonight and not in the favor I'd like it to be. And that doesn't, the goal is to win 4 out of 7 games. Um, they've won the first two. They did, their job. So if they win tonight, it's extraordinary.
So let me ask you a question. If
Mhm.
your team, if you care as much as you do, and
I
your
do.
team is not doing well, what do you do? Do you leave the room? Do what happened? How do you handle
That's
it?
fair. I'm one of those fans who hangs on a lot longer than I probably wish I would. I'm long time wishing for a comeback. I'm hoping for anything to make me feel good about a terrible game. Recently,
This is within a given game.
oh yeah, the
Okay.
Lakers in last series got pummeled by Memphis, lost by like 50 points in Game Five. And they were up 3-1 in the series and
Yeah, that was awful.
just got destroyed. And it's one of those just make you sick games. And if you watch long enough, for me, you recognize this happens to the championship teams. And I mean, one of the better references is the San Antonio teams that were so great from the early 2000s to about 2012, 2013. Greg Popovich, who Steve Kerr, the Warriors coach, is best friends with. I remember watching those teams, and they occasionally in the playoffs get blown out by like 40 plus points. I'd be like, how is that possible? And the next night they're back to normal, and it just, I don't know what to say about that from a competition standpoint.
Well, so first question would be, did you leave the room when we were going down like that?
No, no, no. I'll very painfully engage, and again, hope that something looks better. I mean, hope for maybe just a slight uptick, even if it turns out that the bench players are coming in, and the teams have waved the white flag. Hope that there will be some solid play, something to feel good about building forward. I think part of that comes from coaching as well. I just absolutely love coaching basketball
Uh,
and having a long view and saying, the one game's not it, unless it is an elimination game, of course. And then I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
but a single moment can change the stadium. I mean, it's incredible. The momentum, the home crowd is a real
it's a
powerful
factor. Yeah.
factor for real. Yeah. Yeah.
And at the same time, we've seen so many times visiting teams go in and ride that us against the world mentality to their advantage. So, while the home team speaks about the incredible power of feeding off that, the right-minded visiting team can do the same, to silence them, to talk back to them, in a
And
way.
so is your presence, this is a serious question because this is what I do. I feel like I can't leave. It's like they need me. Right? They need my
Yeah.
loyal viewership. And Chip, it hurts so much. He can't spit like University of Texas, the Longhorns. It just kills him. Or if he really cares about a protein and they're really doing poorly, he can't handle it. It's too
Yeah,
painful. So he leaves the room, and I'm like, how come they need you?
I get it. I mean, my mom and I watch very differently too. My mom sees one bad play and goes, "Oh, okay. Oh no, no, no." I'm like, "Mom, it's one play. It's." Yeah, I'm sure that I bother her, and I know she bothers me a little. And we're ecstatic to be watching together. It's such a privilege.
The point you just made, though, Chip commented, expanded on that last week or the week before, that the thing about basketball as an individual sport is there are so many things happening that can change the moment, the rhythm, there are so many great offensive and defensive ways to make a difference.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah. And it turned, like you said, it turns on a dime, and
yeah.
momentum. There's, I guess, there's a book right now. I heard a sports writer talking about called "The Hot Hand," which statistically argues against momentum. Basically,
Oh, how
talking about
interesting.
a player that shoots because he or she feels confident from hitting 3 or 4 in a row is no more likely, statistically speaking, to hit a shot than someone who had missed their last 12. And I have to look
Okay.
deeper into that. It's one of those places where statistics just drive me nuts too. I mean, it's part of my training. I'm going through it right now as I'm pulling from all the articles, various, studies of improv and various ways people have tried to measure it. And my summary on that, taking a little bit of a turn here, is that it's very difficult to judge emotion via and connection via the current statistical analysis analytic tools that I see.
Mode, yeah.
Quantitatively speaking, qualitatively speaking, when people get to determine what the effect is based on their response in their own language, there's much more, I think, truth in that. And tying that back to basketball, like what we said yesterday, the truth in teamwork and coaching and strength in numbers and all that, that's what I think Steve Kerr gets better than anybody I've seen. He gets the person. He says it's the Teddy Roosevelt quote again, right?
Yeah.
Person in the arena. He's a coach. He can't go out there and shoot like he used to when he was playing with Michael,
Right.
right? His
Right.
job now is
Yeah.
to get the people in the right places and get the right people.
And what would you say about Phil Jackson and Steve Kerr?
I loved Phil Jackson, and this is one of those generativity things, right? Because Phil taught Steve, just like
Right.
Popovich taught Steve, both as coaches, and then as an assistant there. Phil's book, I think it's called Sacred Hoops.
Yeah.
He's a very spiritual guy, and he touched me deeply with one of the first things he wrote, and this happened in the day one class the other day. He finally broke through as a New York Knick and won their one championship back in 1971, something like that. That year, I shouldn't say their only, but that year, you know, um, 2 minutes into the celebration, he was looking around going, "Is that it?" There's expectation that you were going to feel more from
Huh.
having won it all. And
Huh.
it's so the truth of the hero's journey. When you reach the end
Yeah.
of it, there's that feeling of, oh, there was so much excitement to get there, and then the dead openness of, oh, what now? What's next?
Is that all
And
there is?
is that all there is?
I like the
Yeah.
song.
Which
Oh.
turns people back on themselves to want to repeat, defend, go again, whatever it is.
But what's your favorite moment? Is it the guy with the hot hand, or is it when he passes it, to one of his teammates, and that guy makes the shot?
Well,
That's what
yeah, I
that
think
teamwork. That's where I live.
what you just said, because that was, as we spoke about yesterday, the Kevon Looney moment, right? I mean, he's there setting people up all day long, all year long. For years, he's been doing that. And the team is smart enough to recognize they're not guarding him that well. Well, if Kevon's going to be there and we can give him the ball in space where he can deliver, it's a high value play. And again, the other team had no answer for it. We'll see how this is the game.
Sure.
We'll see
Yeah.
tonight.
Sure.
Do they
Sure.
actually scheme for Looney, or do they say that's a one-off? I don't know.
We'll figure that out tonight.
Yeah.
Go Warriors.
Go Warriors. That's your daily dose. We'll see you.